All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for December 30th, 2021. So today, I think I decided I'm going to start publishing the opening parts of this as a separate podcast to the world. There's some folks that have asked me for some market commentary. So I'm going to give them the opening, probably 10 or 15 minutes every night, just to see what the world of podcasting is like, just for fun. All right, so today we had continued that sideways range compression at the top of the stack, at the top of the 10 period, and closed weekly on the intraday piece, but still above the long-term fair value, above the baby dragon. The RL10 is still steep up. It has not flipped over yet. The 3-period haul has rolled over, but the 30-period extension and the PSAR is still up. So it has like one strike against it, if we can think of it that way. So the first warning strike. It's closed above the river. The dragon and the river are both sloping upwards. We're within 0.5% of the all-time high. There's the edge of Z2, and then there's the target up at 47 of Z3. So still in good shape going into the new year. Tomorrow should be another low volume intraday grinding kind of a day altogether. So nothing to read into on that until the boys come back from vacation next week. Then let the games begin. All right, let's look at the sectors today to see what we may see. S&P up 0.28. The Qs were the underperformer today at minus 0.3. The Dow was a little better at minus 0.21. Russell was basically flat at minus 0.03. The VIX was purely flat. Treasuries were up 0.84, so they're within a hair of 148. Emerging markets up, 1.09. So not much dispersion between the indexes today. This was kind of catch up by the globals. The sectors that were better today, Bitcoin futures at 0.27, minus 0.27, I should say. Finance and the two lumbers, minus 0.18 and 0.11. Oil, blockchain, Bitcoin, fractionally up. Ethereum, biotech, lithium, wheat and precious, and commercial real estate up from 0.4 to 0.81. Mexico up 1%. The blended large cap cryptos up 1.1. FANGs 1.4. Marijuana in Brazil 2%. Moonshots, ARC Clean Energy, ARC Genomics up 3.5, between 3 and 3.5. Targets that individual targets that did really well. Robinhood, Virgin Galactic, Cliff, Squarespace, Coinbase, PayPal. So they, all the Coinbase derivatives or crypto derivatives did well today. TX, the steel company, up 0.25. Underperformers in the sectors today, just a few, and nothing really horrible in that. So you had the cluster of the sector spiders of staples, materials, discretionary, blended commodities down 0.5, and energy minus 0.61. Then tech and agriculture down 0.7. And then the rest of it was just targets. I should say XOP, the oil exploration was down. Sorry, missed that one. was down 1.9. Now the individual targets that suffered today. Tesla off 1.5, still above 1,000, so still solid. Devon Energy, John Deere, Microsoft, and Alcoa all down between 1.5 and 0.7. Apple off 0.66. So even Apple and Microsoft gave back today. So kind of a nondescript day. This was a rotation back into the cryptos and some of the globals today. So low volume day. Nothing to read into tomorrow other than stay with our old reliables. And I'm not looking to add risk over the long weekend on this one. Not the long weekend, but over the holiday weekend. And getting ready with my knives sharpened for the January effect after the last holiday here. All right. Let's take a look at some of the trades from the boys today. They did good work as usual. Here's Luke. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so this is the Aussie dollar pair in the currencies, as usual, on 5 minutes. Come on. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. All right, so this is the Aussie dollar on the 5 minutes. And we've had the Bollinger Band rollover. Notice it's in the winter, and then it breaks down out of the river with a downward sloping PSAR. So he just goes ahead and takes that with a nice tight wrist box, rides it down. This would have been a tempting second position. This would be a 1, 2, 3 exit right here. He elected to give it another bit of room and takes it basically at the PSAR. That's still not bad for 3.5. It doesn't follow through. So he stays with that downward trending 90 and the Bollinger Band mean. And now he anticipates the PSAR flip happening. And he gets this is a 1, 2, 3 entry at the PSAR dot. Perfectly played with a nice tight wrist box just above the edge of the dragon, and gets paid nicely here. 0.6. Great stop and reverse. Now, this would have been a very tempting second position for me here. When it held so strongly there for a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. That's 25 minutes. That would have been tempting, especially as it's taken out Z2. If that had happened, I probably would have gotten chased out here on a 1, 2, 3 exit, so that was still positive. Now you end up getting the same exit here on almost as you did on this one, and that's still a nice one position trade. See how easy that is? You can afford to give it a little bit extra room because you've only got one position in decline here. So he takes the routine PSAR exit for 2.1. This was a great shot at going short because this high is still below the previous high and the RL 270 is still down. So he takes that short, looking to front run the collapse below the Bollinger Band mean. And it does for a moment, and comes out, to the edge of the river and starts to reverse. I'd have been very tempted to just scratch that. He takes a fractional loss. That's fine. He waits for the COTA 2. That's a little bit late. We might have gotten a COTA 2 here, but still, that's pretty good. And great cash on the single position 1.7. A perfect COTA 2 when this finds support and then crosses once again. He's on it. And there's about a 1, 2, 3 exit here. I'm still willing to take that for 1.1, and he makes 8.7 for the day. Not bad, young fella. Looking pretty good. Down under. Here's a trio from Ken H. This is what 7R looks like. So we're in on the, he's using his standard intraday with the daily and the 2-minute. A lot of times he'll play this as a daily and a 30 when he's trying to be swing trading, but because he is explicitly doing intraday with no thought of holding it overnight, he's dialed it down to the 2 minutes, and you'll see that that has a nice payoff. So this is just an upward climbing day, just like, nothing special. There's nothing special about this move other than to say it's still part of this long side swing that's en route to test 2250, right? So this low and a higher low makes this entry a COTA 2. And now we're in the 4th day of that this week. And there's still an easy to see upside move to test 2250. So that's very easy to fall in on and continue to support that kind of upward move. But there's nothing special about this move, which means he could have had this trade also on each of the previous 4 days with no overnight risk. As long as this little swing is in play, you can keep hitting the upward move here and here, because that's consistent with the upward pressure that you're seeing from the swing. All right. The swing energy, E with a circle, the swing energy is helping to push this thing to 2250, and you're just enjoying these little upward surges of buying pressure. That is what hybrid trading looks like. Okay. So really nice work here. So there's the, here is like the gap from the breakout above the VWAP. There might have been actually an entry right in there. He elected not to take it. Just wait and see. 2 minutes later, okay, obviously take it. And there's your stop. And he gets this, pulls back, takes the exit just above. You don't know that the VWAP's going to hold. If the VWAP doesn't hold, it would not be surprising to see that come all the way back and test. So he's takes his profit in order to not experience that potential loss. It holds support, though, right here at the VWAP, and then resumes. So when it crosses the dragon, he re-enters. Tries a second position when it clears that hump, and then plays a 1, 2, 3 exit and so even the second position is in the money, first position's in the money. So now he's working at plus 3.5 on the running tote board. This does a reversal, starts to move up. He front runs this move across by taking it here with a tight stop. It doesn't hit, so he takes a quick exit, quick loss. Now, this would have been, you might have gone stop and reverse here, but where I think you got to go stop and reverse is here, because now you notice that the RL10 has moved from fall to winter and is breaching the Z-2. No, I'm sorry, is leaving the river for Z-1, and it's getting ready to cross the VWAP. So I like this as the short, and what you're doing is you're playing it down to this level, which is where it almost got to at the RL270. So that was a legitimate play. You might have even played a second position short here when that one doesn't even get through the dragon. So that might have been a second position short. And then when this is failure to fail further, right here. This is finding support, and then the PSAR flips, and then he hits it on the upside. So I don't mind not taking this short side trade because this is all part of that upward mobility surge, and he's committed to just taking the long side on the cliff trade. And that strategy simplifies his life, and it allows him to look for natural places for support to be established and then the signal to get long. See, like here, there was support being established, but it never crossed the PSAR, never got across the VWAP. So there was no signal, and it just failed a little further. This time support gets put in, and now it crosses the dragon, flips the PSAR. So he takes that one, gets a second position in, trims it quickly, does not go short, although he might have. Again, that's part of his long side narrative. And he cashes +3 and -0.5. So that nets 2.5 on that trade. He takes the second wave. Now he gets support here. So notice that's a kata 2 because you have a low and a higher low and crossing the dragon. So off it goes. When it rolls over, as he's now later in the day, this feels like it's running out of steam. So he just cashes 1 and he nets 7 for the day. Perfectly played. That's a perfectly executed, tactical only intraday trade. Well done. Walmart. So Walmart's got an interesting looking chart here. This is his more normal, daily and 30-minute. So there are fewer signals, and it's easier to manage this. What's really interesting about Walmart is this very well-defined range between 136 and the double top here at 150. So that's about a $15 range. And now what we like about this one is you have a low, and now you have a higher low after this last little surge up and back and recovery. It didn't break to new lows. The RL10 reversed here instead of down here. So that makes this a kata 2 style long side trade. So he's entitled to, in this sequence, look for all of this rising pressure here. So he sees it break out of this little box, has left the Z3 pinch behind, and he buys it here with a tight risk at the PSAR dot, gets his second position in, and then scratches that quickly. So that nets to 1.5. He tries the retracement, scratches that one. So he nets just on the 30-minute kind of slow, fast swing, slow day, 1.5. So nicely done. Very easy to manage that one on 30-minute bars. Hardest trick is staying awake. Now the last one from Ken, this is HD. So we have noticed this had been a front runner in the Dow for the longest while, and then experienced this after this double top. It couldn't break out, and then it got crushed, and then held support at a higher low. So this actually sets up the K2, the kata 2. And the nice thing now about the sell-off is that it creates the easy recovery trade just to get back to the optimistic fair value. So he tried one short in here, quick scratch, might have taken the 1, 2, 3 on the spine of the dragon, elected not to, waited to see that cross the turning dragon before he bought the breakout to the upside, right? So when you map this sets of trades from 21 forward, that's everything in here, now maps over into here. He gets a scratch. Now he looked at but elected not to take this kata 2, waited for another day, and now after it had cleared this little cluster, this is where he gets long with a tight wrist box, runs up, notices the 2 horns of the dragon near the Z3, rolls over. He takes a sniper exit for 2R. He notices he missed this leg on the PSAR flip. That's another kata 2 perfect entry. They would have had this one, and then this might have been a second entry for that one, or this one, either one. He notices the PSAR box, gets paid, sees the spike up, takes a 1-2-3 exit for 1.5. So he nets 2 and 1.5 in the usual way on a 30-minute chart. Very easy to manage. 3.5 net for the quick swing. That's the holiday swing spirit. So nice work. Finally, Wojciech, as he's doing NG here. Is this on the 1 minute? Yeah, this is on the 1 minute. So this is the natural gas futures. He notices our favorite Z3 pinch. The RL270 is so close to here. This almost qualifies as a super pinch. If the RL270 had been a little bit narrower and been inside the Z3 box, then that would have been a super pinch, but that's pretty close. On the breakdown below the Z3, the Z3 pinch breakout right here, he gets the short position. This would have been a tempting second position here. So after it tests once, twice, and then the third time break, that would have been a tempting second position, but he's committed to one good one. He noticed that it holds and is now starting to move. I would have been tempted here, but waiting for the PSAR is just fine. And he locks in, let's see what that trade was. He locks in about 3R on that one. That's a nice day at work, but there's more. He lets this thing reset, and he notices that he has a high, a lower high. We're still well below the VWAP. The RL270 is sloping downward. The last big move was down. So although this was playable here as a supported spring crossing and a CATA 2, which would have paid off, he might have taken this rollover here when it crosses the Bollinger Band mean. In a relaxed way, he just waits for the Z3 pinch to break down, and he trades this. Now on this one, this little test of Z3, a 1-2-3 exit would have been about in here. I'd like to see you get paid on that rather than a scratch. If you had gotten paid here, you might not have taken this one as a PSAR flip, but then you probably would have been ready to take the CATA 2 entry here. This would have paid off. And then again, because you got a high and a lower high on the dragon, this would have been a tempting short. But now you got 2 more lower highs and a Z3 pinch. So this might have been a little bit late, but he was kind of waiting for the breakdown below the Z3 or the RL270, I should say. And this one pretty much scratches. I'd like to see you get paid with a 1-2-3 exit here. Still, that's, again, pretty good day at work. Let's see where we're at here. All right, continuing. So that was just this one here, which was basically a scratch. This would have been a tempting PSAR reversal and go. He waits for like a CATA 2 here. And the idea is that you're playing for a return to the VWAP. But that doesn't materialize. So he takes the -1R, then takes the short for 1.9, fractional loss, scratch, and then nets 3 1/3 for the day. Pretty good work on natural gas. It's a little harder to trade than oil and currencies, but still pretty nice work. All right, let's go ahead to dashboard 1. All right, still bullish normal. On the 2-day, that range was so tight that today's little price decay made it actually go oversold on a 2-day, but otherwise we're long and strong on the overbought. The risk Z is still showing favorable upside breakouts potential. We're so close to all-time high that's understandable. There's still room in the risk Z to get up to that Z2, upper limit. So that is the argument for the upside. Another day full of dojis. Same in the ETFs. Only Japan is better than 2-1 on the auto framer. So I would play just close to the vest. Nothing exceptional in here on the auto framer. Daily squeezes again are showing across the board so many things ready to break out to the upside. Spiders, the Russell, Microsoft, tech, all the usual suspects are in there ready to break out. Still being dominated by spring and summer. So the upside potential is still there, certainly. And Cliff Natural Resources, Home Depot. Home Depot would be another one. Ken had some nice work on that one done today. There's more upside available there. I also like I'm liking Cliff again. That's just for the same reasons Ken did nice work on that today. Mexico's still showing some strength here in the ETFs. And even Latin America is and emerging markets are showing a reversal of their previous weakness. But remember, that's just a 10-day and a 2-day recovery. That's sort of just like recovering from, a real disastrous longer term time frame. So I'm not in a hurry to get into them. I would much rather play Mexico in the emerging markets because of the previous strength. Easier to believe in. All right, that's everything we got for today. We'll get this published and posted, and as long as we can stay above 470, I guess I'm pretty happy. All right, that's everything I got. You guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, New Year's night, you'll be very careful and safe out there. All right, take good care.